Welcome to the Amy Gregory Show, the show where real estate gets a reality check and success doesn't require burnout. I'm Amy, your straight shooting, pep talk in your pocket host who took the real estate world by storm with zero cold calls, no door knocking, and a firm no thanks to working 50-hour weeks. 8 years ago, I jumped into real estate with both feet, 3 kids, and a baby on the way. In my rookie year, I broke every rule in the book, earning 6 figures working just 10 hours a week. The industry was shocked. I wasn't. Now, I lead a powerhouse team of over 500 female solo agents nationwide, host retreats, create online courses, and sit proudly in the top 10 of my brokerage with over 85,000 agents. My mission? To help women like you scale your business, trust your intuition, and redefine what success looks like on your terms. So if you're ready to play big, ditch the hustle culture, and build a business that fits your life, not the other way around, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. We are back. Welcome to this week's episode of the Amy Gregory Show. I have the one and only Amy Peterson with me today. We're going to talk a little bit about being ADD female entrepreneurs, which should be a riot because it's going to be unscripted. It's going to be about as ADD as it gets. But want to talk a little bit about how has it served you well? When did you find out you were did you ever formally get diagnosed ADD?
It's so funny that we're talking about this because people don't talk about it. But no, I did after I started working, and I was realizing I've got 10 tabs open, all to 80%. They're not closing off. Mm-hmm. You know, I decided to go get tested for ADD, also because I thought maybe I had early dementia. And so I went in, got tested, and they told me I won the race. Mm-hmm. And you could have told me the sky was red, and I would have believed it just as much as being told I had ADD. Because in my mind, I was a great student, straight A student. I don't have hyperactivity, all of these things that I classified as ADD. Mm-hmm. They didn't ring true for me. After that, I have since learned that it's just the way my brain works, and it is a superpower. I think before, when we were growing up, it was kind of looked at as like this major defect. Totally. And you didn't want your kids to get diagnosed with this, and you didn't want to talk about it, and and now I look at it truly as a superpower. And then you start looking, and you're like,
such an asset.
Most entrepreneurs, most people in sales, high-level CEOs, most people have some form of it. So again, not something to be feel bad about.
I went down the road because my daughter's third grade teacher was like, I think she has ADHD, and I was like, what are you talking about? Have you seen her 3 brothers? Those guys are nuts. You know what I mean? She was just her
brain's working different.
Her brain was working different, right? And so I went and got her tested, and they were like, oh yeah, it's normally genetic. And I knew the physician, and he knew my profession, and he was like, I'd bet $1 million you're also ADHD. And I was like, no, you're messing with me, whatever. He's like, no, it's a thing for real estate agents. He's like, you should just get tested. He's like, maybe you're not, I don't know. He's like, wasn't trying to be rude. And I took the test, and I was like, all of a sudden I had that diagnosis, and I was like, oh my gosh, so many things started to make sense, because I wasn't an A student. All of my siblings, straight A's, above a 4.0 GPA, 2 older siblings. And I brought home a C every report card. And my dad would just be like, what is your deal? But he never made me feel dumb. I knew it frustrated him, but he would always say oh, Amy's never going to let school get in the way of her education. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, if I was like, what's the point of this? I was like, if I had no interest in it, the odds of it getting done, 0. Yeah.
Well, now you look at it and you're like, why? That is not what I want my kid to do, is sit in a desk and memorize facts for 8 hours a day. How does that make any sense to prepare them for the real world?
Totally. Well, and that's the thing too, is you're like, the C students actually end up, their studies show that the C students actually end up making the best CEOs and entrepreneurs because they have figured out how to like get things done without them being the ones to do it necessarily. Like, which is running a business, you know? And like, and I always say it, and it's interesting now, like raising my own kids, you know, is it's like, I'm trying to think of how I say this in a politically correct way. But you're kind of like, y'all need to figure out which rules matter and which rules don't. And the rules that don't matter, feel free to break them. Because they're given like this parameter of things like, that just doesn't make sense.
Well, and that's what it breaks my heart so much, is these kids are forced to fit into this box. And if they don't fit into this box of these four walls, then they're labeled something, or you're dumb because you didn't figure out this and you didn't get this grade or whatever. And it's just not the case. So I'm glad to know this now, and I'm glad to have a different perspective and take on it. And it's taught me so much. Like, I look back now and think, oh, if I would have known this about me then, or, you know, I've learned so much.
So much.
Specifically, as I go through my business, I was trying in the beginning, again, as I'm trying to force myself to fit into this peg, I was finding out my CRMs and my task management software and all the things, and it just wasn't working for me. I'm paying all these subscriptions. Well, now I found Monday.com works for my brain. It's color coded. It works for my brain. A Post-it, you know, Post-it method. I have Post-its on my desk. That works for my brain, and I'm highly efficient and effective that way. And when I was trying to force myself into spreadsheets, it just didn't work. So now we hire a VA to help with and manage all the spreadsheets, so we have all of that as well. And you figure out what works for your brain.
Well, but the
and
thing
that's
about
how you
it
become
is
successful
it's
in
like
it.
the thing about, they'll always say about, like, if you have ADHD, like, you're impulsive, and it's like, oh, no. Like, I can gather information faster than you, and I'm not impulsive, I'm decisive. Like, I can recognize the pattern really quickly and be like, no, that's the way. And that's the other thing, is I'm decisive on it, and even if it's the wrong decision, the quicker I decide, the quicker I find out that it was the wrong decision, and I can turn around and go back. Versus the person that's like, I like to call it like fast thinkers versus slow thinkers. And we do have both of those parts in our brain. The ADHDers just tend to like sit in that fast thinking one more. So you have to hire some of those slow thinkers that will be like, hey, tap the brakes for just a second. Right? But those slow thinkers are analyzing to perfection. And meanwhile, I've already tried it 5 different ways, and I know why the other 4 don't work, and I'm going down the one that I know works now. Do you see that in your business?
Absolutely. I mean, I've always thought, and again, this is looking back, I've always been super decisive. And sometimes I made a decision too quick, and it wasn't the right decision. Absolutely. And I've realized about myself, like, I just need 3 or 4 options. I can make a decision really quick and move forward. As opposed to, you know, like my cute, sweet mom, she would, if she's buying a couch for her house, we have to look at every couch in every furniture store in the whole valley.
That is torture.
Before we can make a decision. And that, but she ends up with the couch that she knows and loves, and
that's
it works
her
for
process.
her. Yeah, it's her process. And so
I would literally rather put needles in my eyeballs.
Well, it's the same, and so that's why I make a decision. I walk into the store, there's 2 options, I choose this one, and it's over.
It's funny because we have probably like the same mom, and she'll call me like, what do you think I should do? I'm like, you don't actually want to ask me that, because you know I'm going to say it doesn't matter, I don't care. You know, like, and I genuinely am happy. I could be happy with 10 different couches, because it's not like a measuring stick of my happiness. Right? Is that like a weird thing?
No, I'm in the same boat.
Same boat as you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about inside of real estate, how you're building a business with your ADHD that integrates into your lifestyle. You've got 5 kids, I've got 4 kids, we're juggling a lot. And so it's one of these things where it's like, how are you positioning your business where you can scale without all of the burnout? Right? Like, is the goal just to close as many transactions as possible?
Right. No. And I think the way I have learned that one of my strengths, obviously there's lots of weaknesses, but one of my strengths is delegating. And that is something that I have found very useful inside my business. And so anything that isn't, if we talk about our hourly rate, and we know this is an hourly rate that we're working at, why would I spend time chasing signatures on a document, or collecting reviews, when I can hire my VA to collect that for me? And so that is how I have been able to scale, is being very quick to hire out those tasks.
Hire out those tasks. Well, and I think too is it's like you look at I got to that point too where I was at a brokerage and I could recruit agents and bring agents in. It was a local brick and mortar brokerage. But I was like using social media and I'm like, I got agents all over the place, right? And it's been fun for you and I because there's no other way you and I could ever collaborate like we do if we weren't both at EXP.
Absolutely.
Because in any other we would be top competitors with each other.
100%.
And we would compete. Like in a brick and mortar. Let's just play this out because it'll be so funny. If you and I are in the same brick and mortar, are we friends?
I mean, I'd like to say
we're friendly.
Friendly, but probably not.
But I don't
we're
think
definitely
we're
not
friends.
sharing. No, we're definitely not sharing all of our
You know what I mean?
business.
But why? Why wouldn't we be like? I'm playing devil's advocate here because this is a healthy like dynamic here, but I'd say we're both alpha females inside our communities, inside our families, inside our businesses. It's like if we're gonna do something, like we're going all in. Like we're not going halfway. Like we're doing the thing. And I think when you're building a business and it's like you're providing for your family, you have to protect it. It's just like you protect your kids. There's certain people that you're friendly with and there's certain people that you're like, no, that person's like predatory and they're not having access to my kids.
Right.
And I think as a business owner, there's certain people that you're friendly with and there's certain people that you're like, that person's predatory to my business and they're not getting access to my business. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it's fair, and it's interesting because I didn't ever experience that. So when I came over to EXP, and everyone is so willing to share and open playbooks, and so that's all I know, and so I haven't experienced this, but it is very, very real, and I see it very often, and I talk to agents all of the time that are in that environment, that nobody's wanting to help them, and it's very much scarcity mentality.
No shot. I would even entertain anything with you. She's being nice. I'm not gonna be nice. There's no shot I would sit and be chummy with Amy Peterson if we weren't aligned. There's no shot. Why would I?
You said it.
Why would I? Like honestly, why would I? So that you can take transactions from me? Do you think that's okay, that's legit is
oh.
I'm going to come up with an analogy that you're going to love. Yes. I can feel it.
The analogy queen here.
No, but, okay, that's legitimately you're in the NBA finals, and I don't care if your best friend is on the other team. Let's say Devin Booker and Steph Curry are best friends in real life. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. And let's say the Suns miraculously make it to the finals. That's a stretch after last season. But it's is he calling up Steph Curry and being like, okay, here's how we're going to run our defense on you in tonight's game. Is he sharing?
It's fair.
No shot. But I feel like women sometimes I just need to be nice. So I'm going to go lead my broker's training and tell them exactly how I brought in all these transactions. Why would you ever do that?
No, it's fair.
So you're saying you would be nicer to me?
No, I appreciate it. You're exactly right. When you are in the same geographic area and you're all building the same business, you wouldn't be opening your playbook the way we do. And if it wasn't beneficial for you, if I was successful, you wouldn't be.
What,
you're right.
But that's all. And there's been people I've had to block.
Right.
I remember, and I was like, no, cut that off, Amy.
Right.
They're taking advantage of you. Cut it off. And I think you were surprised at my wham.
How quick you could say no.
How quickly. No, and I feel like you know what I'm referencing.
It was fair, yeah.
It was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But there were agents that were wanting to join us at EXP, and you were being so helpful to them, and I was being so helpful, and would get on calls and say, hey, this is how you would map things out. All of these things. And it was yes, we're coming, yes, we're coming, yes, we're coming. And then they took the entire strategy that you and I built for them, and they went somewhere else, which actually is fine. They're allowed to do that.
Right.
It's like a high school breakup. You know what I mean? They're allowed to do that. I'm also allowed to block you, which I did, and I think that surprised you how quickly I was like, oh, it's fine. They can do that, but also you no longer have access to me.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's fair.
Have you ever
had that's why I have just loved EXP so much. And like I said, I didn't know how lucky I got when I landed here. I had just been watching you. You showed up at my door just randomly. And I had been watching how you built a business while you were a mom, while you're from your social media. Because there was never going to be a day where I was going to go into a brick and mortar office and be required to make a certain amount of calls or a certain amount of door knocks.
So you don't like to be told what to do?
Yeah, I don't like to be told what to do.
Is that our ADHD talking?
That is a big one. But there was, I knew when I was looking for a brokerage, and this is good information. I have people ask me all the time, how did you find out? I knew what I didn't want. I knew that I didn't want these things, and I knew that I was watching you on social media reach one to many in the comfort of your home with this computer that you carry in your back pocket. Yeah. And you were building in a way that really spoke to me. Yeah. And I was in this new stage of middle motherhood where I was kind of recalibrating.
Yeah, for sure.
Figuring out who I was. It's a real thing.
It's a
when
real
your kids
thing.
start leaving home and your whole identity is being a mom, and there's nothing I value more. Yeah. My most sacred calling forever and ever will always be that of mom. And also when that role starts looking different, all of a sudden it's like, wait, who am I? What do I like? What hobbies do I have? I don't really even know. And so this, as and to be honest, I would have ended up in real estate a lot sooner had I seen a model like this that worked. And it didn't exist.
It didn't exist
back then. We were moving around. You only could go to a brick and mortar. You weren't building on social media, things like that. So the long and the short of it is, I didn't know how lucky I was when I landed where I did.
But that's part of the ADHD. You know that creative problem solving is like identifying what you don't want is a thing. And then you say, and then that's the superpower where you're like, well, I don't want that. Okay, let me go kind of create what I do want. And that ADHD brain is willing to break some of like cultural norms because they're like unwritten rules. Right. There are a lot of unwritten rules of real estate. And I broke a lot of them. I didn't build a local team. I used social media. And then I moved over to like a cloud-based brokerage early. I saw that pattern really early where I was like, oh wait, this is going to be like, I feel like it's going to be like to know it for fashion bloggers, but for real estate agents, where you get to behave like a broker without being a broker, because heaven knows I don't need the liability of being a broker. Right. That is not my strong point. My strong point is not checking your paperwork. Right. Like we hire out to that weakness. Right. My strong point is that big vision casting of a business and like scaling the business and figuring out how to do it without the burnout.
Well, one thing on that, as you were saying, the unspoken rules of real estate, there's also unspoken rules of motherhood. Oh, yeah. And I think that was a little bit of something I had to work through in the beginning, is feeling guilt or feeling like I shouldn't be doing this, that my kids needed access to me 24 hours, 7 days a week. And they do. I mean, my kids have access to me. There's nothing I would ever not do for my children, especially, obviously, that
goes without saying. Yeah.
But as you step into this new role and you've kind of been, I don't know if conditioned is the right word or what it is, there was some feelings. There were feelings. I don't really even know how to navigate them.
And this is the thought I identified, and I wonder if you, is you only work if you have to, but good moms don't work. Yeah. No one ever said that to me. Yeah. But that's kind of, but I think too, like generationally, our parents raised us for a future they could not imagine. Well, and and so it did make sense. Like my mom did put my dad through law school, and my mom held down the fort while he took the bar and did all of those things, and that made all kinds of sense.
Right. And she couldn't have built a business while she was raising you.
No, it wasn't in the palm of her hand. Right. Like it wasn't there. It didn't exist.
I tell my kids that all the time. It was just 20 years ago that I had a map. We moved out of state. I have a map with my minivan full of kids looking at a map. Like we had no map on our phone.
I'm the map. I'm the map.
Like how did we get around? I don't know. We never called our parents where we were.
Have you seen those like TikToks where they're acting like kids today are so distracted, and then they show 90s kids? And remember, you would have all your CDs in like that Case Logic thing, and you'd be like flipping through it, and then you would have like the MapQuest thing, like when you could type an address into MapQuest and it would write out the directions for you, and then you would print it off, staple it together, and
bring it while you're out.
And then that was revolutionary. Yes. But that's what we were doing. Like it wasn't our cars or our phones and CarPlay and like choosing the next song. Like we were digging through CDs and cassette tapes, like fast forwarding, rewinding, trying to get to the song of choice.
Yeah, it does seem
wild.
barbaric now.
It was wild. It was wild. Okay, looking forward, what is like one or two things wrapping up like that you're really looking forward to? Because you started as a brand new agent, you closed 25 million last year, and what do you see like in the next 2 or 3 years?
Inside my business or in real estate?
Yeah, inside your business. Like, what are you wanting to unlock next? Because you've unlocked what I would call like quote unquote financial freedom. You're making multi-six figures, and that makes you uncomfortable that I just said that out loud, but whatever. It's better that you just own it. So we say these things. Because and I'm being for real, people need to know, like, that's what you can do. And it's important that you say it because there's someone that needs it. Like, those have been the coolest stories inside of Powerhouse. Like, Amy's a cool story, but Amy was always alpha. I always knew this was what Amy was going to do. But there's other women that have, like, created an income source for themselves so that they can like leave abusive marriages, and you're like,
change their families.
That's freaking cool. It's freaking cool.
Well, and I mean, this is a little side note, but I think just sitting down and writing these impossible goals are these things that your mind can't even begin to fathom. I mean, you're home, slinging cheese crisps and quesadillas and all this stuff.
Make yourself a dang quesadilla.
Right, and there's no part in your brain that can comprehend, I'm gonna go start a business and make X figures in the next 2 years.
No, because we were raised that like you have to go to school, get an MBA, get a doctorate degree, get a law degree, go to dental school, go do all this stuff, and then I'm like, I'm just over here using ChatGPT and social media, like I'll figure this out. Yeah. But again, it's the ADHD
and that's
brain.
a gift to just this figure.
But that's the other gift is it's like the confidence of like I could probably do that.
Yeah. Okay, I do have to say this. When I was in my ADD appointment, and she was asking me, "You probably have buffered over the years." I was like, "No, I really haven't.
Totally stable.
I'm doing great." I'm like, I was just blessed with parents that taught me that I could do anything. I have this great confidence. I just jump and build a parachute on the way down. And she's like, "Oh, honey."
You little cutie.
There's something that's just not registering in your brain telling you that there's danger ahead, you know, that you could fail here. But what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with failing?
What's wrong with feeling like, oh, I may or may not fail. I might not fail. I'm just going to go and do this. And that is what has built it, is just this feeling of, oh, I'm just going to jump and build a parachute on the way down. And sometimes I build them, and sometimes I crash and burn and build it again.
Yeah. But like I always say, it's like you're already in worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like, worst case scenario is where you are right now. And if you did nothing, you would just stay where you're at. Okay, well, I can do something. And even if that something doesn't work, well, I'm still right where I'm at.
Right.
Like nothing, I mean, there's times you can lose money and things like that, for sure. And there were times early on that I was writing checks that I had no business writing. Bless my husband. They're just...
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
With a non-ADD brain.
He's like, And then if anyone tries to tell you, like, maybe that's not a good idea, it's like, well, excuse me.
Well, now I'm going to have to do it twice.
Now I'm going to be forced to tell you why you're an idiot. And let me tell you. But that's the thing, too, is it's like you can gather up so much information. But I do think that's the power of your brain, though. That's the power of your mind, is if you can, like, imagine it and kind of see it. And that's the ADHD brain, is like, and you're interested in it, like you won't stop.
Hyper focused,
until it's a win.
Right.
Absolutely. You know? Okay.
So inside my business, I do love my transactions. I know we've talked about this a lot. I love my clients. I love the area where I am. I love my transactions. That's always going to stay and continue to nurture, and it's always going to be me and them. You know, I'm never going to build. I shouldn't say never, knock on wood, but my plan is to never build a team as far as like a local team. I'll stay a solo agent. And then I think what is next for me is getting more into the agent business, like we talk about often. There's so many agents that don't have this, and it's so frustrating to be on this island building a business all by yourself, especially if you have a model of the old, I hate to say it, but the good old boys. The old 1995.
Good old boys of real estate.
Right. And in their mind, they've got to give up huge splits and knock doors and cold call. You know, that's tough. I just went in on a listing appointment, and the other agent that was going in to try to get it as well, the clients told me that he said he was going to call 100 homeowners a day until he got the house sold. That was the marketing strategy. I'm going to call on, multi-million-dollar home, call 100 clients a day or homeowners a day to try to sell your house. So if you're a brand new agent, I know,
like a
we can break that
fascinating
down.
thought.
We can break that down in a minute.
I'm looking
But-
for the merit in it.
Well, yeah.
See,
we
my
can-
brain's going.
Mhm. I know, we should break it down because it was very interesting.
What was the price point of the house?
$3 million.
$3 million.
So if you're a $3 million buyer and you got a call, what would that look like? My point is, though, if you're in a brokerage and that is what they're teaching you to do, that feels like, there's got to be a better way. And
There
so
is.
I want to
There is
be,
a
and there
better
is a
way.
better way. And so that is where
Well, I'm just wondering. Like now, I'm like, well, who are the 100? Who are the 100 people that he's calling? And, like,
know.
how do you qualify like the 3
To
million?
get that call.
Yeah. Well, because to find a $3 million buyer, you're looking at someone with a decent amount of net worth, and I'm not answering my phone. Now you're wondering, like, but also, like, if it's in this Mesa Gilbert area where we're at, theoretically be someone from California, Chicago, or Seattle if they're coming in from out of state. Those are like those are the top cities that move into Arizona. So does he have lists of people there?
that is a great question. I don't know, but
Okay, but like
I know we're gonna have
but
to break
now,
it down.
Now look at this though. Now we're doing the math, Amy. I'm getting my freaking calculator out. Because
But-
if you
and-
posted one reel, this is the math. Because and this is what buyers and sellers don't understand is the algorithm does know who can afford a $3 million house.
Right.
You want to know why? Because they're buying Gucci and Louis Vuitton and they're taking nice vacations and they're looking at Airbnbs. Like
Right.
the algorithm knows you better than your spouse
Right.
knows you, right? And so let's say we'll make it modest. Maybe you get 10,000 views in one day. That's 100 days of him calling 100 people. And you did that in one piece of
reel.
content. One piece.
Which is
Okay.
why we've got to talk to more agents and
I
help them
can't.
because that's what's so frustrating and that's why there's such a huge exit rate for agents
Yeah.
that are
that's wild.
giving up their license every year because they don't know that you can build. Well, I shouldn't say they don't know. I'm sure they just maybe don't have the collaboration.
When you almost get gaslit into thinking like, this is what it is. Oh, sweetie. That's cute that you think you can do that. Like social media, like, listen, we've been doing this for 30 years. Okay, Blockbuster. Let me have that win for you. That's what we're calling him from now on, is Blockbuster. Okay.
Well, and to be honest, this is what kept me out of real estate for so long.
Yeah.
I was told over and over and over that if I wanted to go into real estate, I could never be a good mom because I would be
Oh,
gone
yeah.
all day Saturday and Sunday. I would be gone every weekend. And that's just not how it is anymore.
No, it's not that way
Real
at
estate
all.
is different
Yeah.
now. And so back to the question, I want to help agents.
Okay, so if you're an agent and you're wanting to grow your business, you want to join Amy Peterson, you can connect with her below, click on her link, DM her. Like, that's how easy it is.
It is.
Like, DM her and say, hey, Amy, I want to know how to build my business. And we will get you into Powerhouse. We can help you. Our specialty is taking agents that are doing like 3 to 5 million in production and getting them to 10 million by the next year. And I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like, we do that all day, every day. Amy, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. We will see you guys next week for the Amy Gregory Show.